Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a story time and how I got my first ever running medal. So today's video kind of came to me while I was working on my most recent project, which I'm building a shelf thing kind of, but it's gonna hold all of my running medals and some of my bibs, and it's gonna be a place that I can keep track of all my PRs for different distances. Just kind of something that I look at every morning, and I can hang up all my medals and say, this is what I've done in the past, make every mile count kind of thing. It's in the works still. It's in the garage right now. So maybe I'll do a little update video on that and kind of show you guys once it's done. But today I wanted to dive a little bit into my running history and kind of explain my biggest regret. And so I wanted to start with how I came to running and when I started. And so I actually found a folder where I kept all my running stuff in from high school, and I stumbled across it a couple weeks ago. I was trying to clean out my room, so I have that out with me to show you guys some things. But I started running when I was a freshman in high school, and I had no experience whatsoever with running. My cousin ran, and he was 2 years older than me. He'd done it for a little bit, and I'd played basketball since 3rd grade, so I was kind of getting a little bored with that and wanted to do something else, and so I figured, why not give running a try? So I started running my freshman year of high school, and I actually found here my old training log. And just looking back here, my first entry, I ran 1.5 miles in 8 minutes and 57 seconds. Get out of here. Come on. Go on. Hey, no. Oh. It's storming outside. So I ran my first 1.5 miles in 8 minutes and 57 seconds. And my next entry, I ran 2.5 miles in 13 minutes and 52 seconds. And so looking back and seeing how little mileage I ran, and on here, 4.8 miles was the longest I ran. And it took me 41 minutes and 37 seconds. And then my first ever time trial, we had time trials for camp, which was the first 2 weeks before school started. And I want to say that was like the longest 2 weeks of my entire life. Especially the first week, like completely new. Definitely not having enough miles in me from the summer. But I was still really excited and stuff to start a new sport, and I'd already made so many friends that I don't think I would have even made if I hadn't joined the team. So time trial, which was our home course, we ran them both Saturdays, and I ran a 26:16. And at the time, we have a really small school. I was the only varsity girl runner, and so I was like I was able to completely focus on myself and improving my own times and not having to worry about being top 7 or trying to make top 7 and score well and all this stuff. So that was, I think, really helped my personal growth just in general as a runner. But I have this picture from, I think, that same time trial that I ran that 26:16 in. But it was the whole boys varsity team running me in to the finish on our track. Here I am with long hair. But I remember these guys, they were like my brothers, and we had 2 sets of twins actually on the team, so that was really cool. And this was the year that they actually won states, single A states, so that was really cool. I went down and got to watch. I didn't get to run at states my first year, but it was a super cool experience to go down to Hershey and watch all of them run. And I was already getting excited to, you know, try to make it to states next year as a sophomore. So going into that, I have my first ever bib for my race, and I got 121st place out of 160 girls, and I ran a 25:56 5K. Not bad. Because I think the first time trial I ran, or like the first 5K, or what my coaches were guessing I was going to be around, was about 28 minutes. And so I think just that 26:16 kind of surprised them, and they started to get, you know, excited. Hey, instead of, you know, taking this really slow and easy, you know, I know you don't have to worry about anything, but hey, let's try to ramp things up, you know, a little bit. So, I don't even know how many races we raced all together. But it was like an every weekend thing. Get up at, you know, 6:30 or 7:30 every Saturday, get on a bus and go to a meet. And so that was also kind of rough. I never had to do that for any other sport. And so that was kind of like wearing me down. I ran every single race on an empty stomach because I couldn't eat breakfast in high school because it made me nauseous in the morning. So towards some of the end of the races, you could hear my stomach sloshing because it was empty. And ever since I went to college, I've had to eat every morning for breakfast. Honestly, I don't know how I ever ran on an empty stomach because I can't do it now. I'm terrified to try it again, even if it's 3 miles. So just, it's weird to see how my body has changed, just over those couple years. So overall, I was progressing a little bit each week, and my times were getting better. So here's another time here in September at one of our tri meets. I got 27th overall, and our team got 2nd place. I think it would have been our girls' team. But then I knocked down my PR to 25:35. And then the next race, I was at 23:35, and then 23:14. And then we were getting towards the end of the season at that point, and so we were looking at going to, we have regionals, districts, and then states, and you have to, everyone runs regionals, but not everyone, everyone ran at regionals and districts, but only the top 25 at districts went on to states at Hershey. And so we were getting closer to those bigger end of the season meets. And so, you know, my coaches kept encouraging me, you know, hey, you have a shot to do well at regionals and maybe even districts, but districts is going to be a little bit more of a stretch. But depending on how you do at regionals, we'll see how, you know, you can handle districts. And so regionals every year is at Sharpsville, and I swear it rains there every race. So it was muddy, I remember, and to this day I hate running on muddy, soggy grass. It just wrecks my ankles, and like no matter how many miles you put in on the road or on the grass, like your ankles are just destroyed. So I have my bib from regionals. Sharpsville. Sorry, this was the Sharpsville meet. We ran there twice this year. This is my regions bib. And the top 15 medal. And I actually medaled. I got 13th, and I was like so excited. I had no idea what place I was even in, and I ran a 23:04, so that was another PR for me. And that was the medal I showed you guys at the beginning of the video. I was a Region 3 13th place in 2013. So this is my first ever running medal. It's definitely going on my shelf that I'm making, along with probably my first ever bib that I was given. And so my coaches were like blown away that I had medaled at regionals, and they were really proud of me, really encouraging. Hey, you've got, you know, you did well, but we got to look forward to next week, to districts. And I was like, yeah, that's gonna be, you know, I was like, no way am I gonna make it to states my first ever year running. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna think that way, because, you know, that's how you get to places like that. You envision yourself getting there. And so districts was, I remember, cold, and it was like a mix between snow and rain. And I have a picture somewhere, I don't know, I'll have to put it up I have a couple pictures. And I wore like Under Armour long sleeve and long pants. And I remember getting into the race, and I was like overheating like crazy. And I have a picture with like my sleeves rolled up. And so it wasn't that cold, I guess. But I ended up running a 22:25 5K, another PR, and I got 44th place, and I needed to be 25th or better to make it to Hershey. And honestly, it felt like I was a little bit closer to the top 25 than I thought I was. But it was a good race. I felt I was really being pushed that race. It seemed like there was someone everywhere on that course, you know, telling me, you got to keep picking girls off, you know, you're getting closer and closer. And I feel like that just kind of like slipped away. I mean, I had a lot of people in front of me still, so, but I can still remember that race today, and just like how everyone seemed to be all over and was just yelling at me. And so that was a really good race. And this is where my biggest regret comes in, because that was my last cross-country race of high school. Believe it or not, I decided I didn't want to run any year, the next year. I did start camp the following year, I don't remember how much I ran that summer, but I went to camp maybe 3 or 4 days that year, and we had a big junior varsity girls team, and there were some really good girls coming up, and I was super nervous with them coming up. As much as I was excited to start a team and actually like be able to try to score, I was also really scared, and I felt like there was a lot of responsibility all of a sudden dumped on me, because at that point I was the oldest of the varsity team, and I was a sophomore in high school, and so I felt a lot of pressure, and the pressure really broke me down, and I said, I can't do it. And so I quit running, and I played soccer that year instead. And that's kind of like where I began bouncing between sports and stuff like that. But this my dad made for me the summer after my freshman year. And this was a picture of me from one of the races. This is actually one of my favorite races. It's the red, white, and blue invite. And that was at Buell Park. Or no, sorry, Shenley Park in Pittsburgh. And I still have a shirt from that. I wear it all the time. But my dad made me this like little encouraging note. And he just says, all athletes set goals to try and reach. You know you can do this. June 30th, 3.1 miles in 25 to 26 minutes. By August 30th, I was running 3.1 miles in 22 minutes. He said, last year you dropped your times over 4 minutes. Try hard, do your best. And I think this was just his way of like really trying to convince me to keep running. And it was nice to have like that encouragement, and I really do wish I would have stuck with it. I think I would have had so much more knowledge and experience than I do today that I could use. And as much as my body has changed just since freshman year of high school, I think I would have learned my body a little bit more and how it changed and how things went. So I was really glad I found this stuff, and I thought I would share with you guys a little bit more on how my running journey kind of started and ended for a short period of time and then started again. And you know, I can tell now looking back like how much I really loved it, because after my freshman year of high school, like I said, I started bouncing sports. I quit basketball that same year. I started soccer, and then I got a really bad concussion from that. I didn't play any sports my junior year of high school because I just wanted to take a break. And then my senior year, I came back and played soccer again for only half the season. And then we were looking to start a track team, and it ended up being basically like a fourth of our cross-country team. And we weren't even like considered like a team. We were a track club. And so I joined it again, and so that's kind of where my running journey started back up. And I remembered how much I enjoyed that, and I think that is what really made me realize that I want to continue running. And I knew going into college, I didn't know where I was going to college yet, but I knew going into college that I wanted to participate in some sport, because I've been doing sports since 3rd grade. I've always been a super active person and outside, and I just love doing a whole bunch of different sports. I've golfed really like literally everything except softball and baseball. I've never really had like an attraction to. So I knew that there was some sport that I wanted to participate in college, and I think starting running again and doing that little track season at the end of my senior year made me, decide, hey, I'm going to run in college. That's the sport I'm going to go with. And I remembered I'd already been accepted to Westminster and a couple other schools, and I wasn't recruited by any of the schools or anything. I had no signing day or anything like that. But I remember once I was accepted to Westminster and decided that that's where I wanted to continue my schooling. I remember I went and emailed the coach and said, hey, I'm interested in running for you guys. can you send me the training plan? And that was basically it. So I walked on to the team, and it's probably the best decision I've made for myself since. And even though I've run for these past 4 years now, I still look back on my freshman year of high school and see, you know, what could I have actually done with that? You know, could I have turned this medal into a district's medal or a state's medal, you know? So just something I always think about, and I hope this story helps those that are, you know, kind of not sure where they want their running career to go, or if they should continue, or even if they should start running. I hope that this kind of helps bump that decision into, you know, starting to run. And if you're unsure, you know, hey, should I go play soccer? Or, you know, a lot of my friends play baseball. Should I go play baseball with them? You know, if you truly enjoy running, I would definitely stay with it. Looking back, that's obviously what I wish I would have done. Just the people alone that I met. I still talk with my high school coach every now and then. He is also a teacher at the high school that I went, so I had him in class, and I think he's still running. And so it's just, you know, the people in the sport are great. And so I hope that, you know, you don't have the same regret that I do. So, you know, maybe hang on for a couple more weeks, and, you know, something might change. Something might tell you, you know, this is the sport that's for me. I should stick with it, you know, have a sign. And I think that sign for me was the track season my senior year of high school. And I think that really, you know, kicked that switch on the back of my head, you know, hey, you remember how much fun this is? This is something you really enjoyed, you know, and you've missed out on this for the past 3 years, you know, go do it again. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'll throw in those pictures again, like I said. If you guys want to hear more about some of my races or something like that, feel free to comment down below. If any of you guys have any similar stories, or, you know, how to really strong point in your life where you didn't know what to do, you know, share with others, hear their stories, see how their running careers started and maybe paused and started again. So but I'm really glad I have this picture. They were like my brothers. And so, good group of guys. So don't boot running out of your future. It holds good things. Thank you guys so much for listening, and again, I hope this story has enlightened some of you to continue your passion for running. Maybe start a passion in another person to begin running. So if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe. We've got videos coming out for you every Wednesday. I'm going to try to give you guys a little bit of an update on my half marathon training. Next week, I really need to hit the track, so maybe another workout Wednesday. We'll see. But I'm looking to do a marathon specific and a half marathon specific workout in the future. So if you guys are interested in that, just click that little bell beside the subscribe button, and that'll let you guys know whenever I upload a video. And hopefully those are soon. So I will see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you again for all the support. I really appreciate it.